how to begin to create a new life. If you're watching, I know that within you, you desire a more expansive experience of life. Otherwise, why would you watch? All we're talking about week after week, year after year, is how to create the most magnificent, expanding, forever expanding experience of life. So we're going to start with a couple basic steps at first. You see, in order to live and experience a new life, we must embrace change. Not only must we embrace change, we must consistently and persistently create the change we wish to see. Think about this. If you look at your life, whether you're 10 years old, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, you understand that the one thing you can count on is that things will change. Change is constant. Stagnation, or the perception of stagnation, is what causes us problems. Change is constant. The question is, are you reacting to the outer change around you? Or are you creating an inner change in your perceptions, which is affecting the outer experience? The key thing to remember here is we have the ability to affect the type of change we see. Understanding this, we realize that wishing and hoping are not part of the processes. They only lead to despair and depression. I remember growing up in the 60s, there was a song, wishing and hoping, da 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 da. I won't bore you with more song. But this is what most people live. They wish and they hope. And their lives never change. They're thinking there's something outside of them that knows what their inner being wants, what they want, and that being will bring it to them. That's like believing in Santa Claus is going to bring you a Lexus. It's not going to happen. Fact of the matter is, if you want a Lexus, you build wealth, and then you use that wealth to buy the electric. If you want to change your life, you have to build the mental image, live the mental image, and let that image create the life you want. When we are called from within to experience more, there are certain things we must first embody in order to create our desired result. So it's important that we understand this. What are those things that are necessary for us to create? The first is we must have a willingness and an understanding that to move forward, we must be willing and committed to let go of the past. Do you see that? We must be willing to let go. If we're not willing to let go, we're not making room for anything else. We must be willing to let go of the pain of the past. We must be willing to let go of what we perceive as failures of the past. We must be willing to let go of the mistakes that we think we've made in the past. We must be willing to let go of the idea that we're not worthy because we were born to this mom and dad, we live in this area. We must be willing to let go of all limitation. And until we have that willingness, we're stuck. Letting go of the past involves letting go of habits that we have become comfortable with, and our body and mind will try to sabotage us as it enjoys living in the known. Here's one of the things that I see with people, younger people. They have a habit or they game. And gaming is exciting. Gaming gives them challenge. It excites them. But they're not living in the other world, the world of interaction with people. What if you are that person, you said, okay, I game 6 hours a day. What if I change the habit to game 5.5 hours a day, and I take that 30 minutes and I use it to become social and interact with people? You see, that's building a new habit. I'm not abandoning the old one entirely, because that's difficult to do, because we've got an attachment to that, but we can do it slowly. And once we start doing it slowly, we start building a process and say, oh, I am connecting with others. Because let me say this, it is in our DNA to connect with others. It is not in our DNA to be alone. There's something special when two people's energies are vibrating in a particular frequency, and we can talk. We can do things together, or we can just simply be with each other, not talking. I find that true to be happening with my wife a lot. We're just in the same room together, and we feel each other's energy, and there's a connection there. We must have a willingness and a commitment to let go of the past so that we can have a future. And when you have developed that willingness, then we move forward with the second item. The second thing is we must create an enhanced and expansive view of the life that we desire. Because how can we move into a new life if we haven't envisioned it? We haven't examined the type of life we want to have. What type of people do you want in your life? What type of things would you like to be doing? Find out what it is you love. Then find out how you can do what you love and serve greater numbers of people. Now you're creating a life and a career at the same time. I'm doing what I love with you right now. I love sharing a practical spirituality. I love teaching how to better self-love through conscious living. For me, I get tremendous joy because as I teach, as I speak about this, it ingrains it deeper within me. And there's a natural part of me that loves to teach. There's a natural part of me that desires to love myself more. And what I teach, I ingrain deeper and deeper into my own subconscious mind, and it makes it a habit for me. You see, as we create this expanded view of our life, we must create an eagerness and an insatiable desire to have this experience. I love the feeling of connecting with others authentically. Not phony. I'm talking authentically, where I am being Lee, and the person with me is being them. There's no games then. We're not trying to one-up each other. We're not trying to impress each other. We're accepting each other where we are and sharing life. That, my friends, is a life of love. Because love is acceptance. Once we establish this expanded view with a sense of eagerness, our current life circumstances become boring or just tolerable because we have removed the excitement behind them in order to create our new vision. We've taken the excitement we had once on this event and we moved it to another. And so we're literally building a stairway from where we are now to a higher expanded sense of awareness. And there's an eagerness, a desire that it's insatiable. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm willing to commit to this. And as we commit to it, we start acting differently. We start feeling differently. And when we do that, we are in the creative process, and there is nothing better than being in the creative process. You see, it is our spiritual DNA to expand. And anytime we become stagnant, something inside of us is triggered, and we become bored, and we begin to seek a new excitement. That's true even with people who have addictions. The addiction keeps them content for a little bit, then they've got to go to a greater addiction, a greater amount of alcohol, a greater amount of drugs, a greater amount of food, a greater amount of losing yourself into a video game, into pornography, whatever it is the addiction is. The great Chris Rock, in his new comedy special on Netflix, talked about the greatest addiction in the world today. And I sat and I listened intently to see what was the Chris going to say. And he said, attention. Our greatest addiction is our attention. We are so stuck in our phones, so stuck in electronics, that we're not focusing on life. We've lost life. We've lost our juice. At Agape, our in-person service last Sunday, there were groups of people there that were in meetings. And when they came out of the meetings, they were sitting outside, probably 30, 40 people. And not one of them was talking to each other. They were all on their phones, scrolling. I don't know if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, but they were scrolling. It wasn't like they were doing business. You can see they were numb. They were addicted. They have become stagnant. And their lives most definitely were reflecting that. The only way to stop our inner desire to grow is to numb ourselves or die. In fact, they're really the same thing to the soul. So many people ask me when someone dies, why did they leave right now? And I use science of mind for that. And science of mind teaches that when the body and the mind are no longer serving the soul's desire and ability to express a greater awareness, the body releases the soul, or the soul releases the body, releases the mind, so it can continue its journey of infinite discovery. Are you numb? Are you stagnant? If you are, the soul is trying to tell you to be creative, to begin to expand. It doesn't have to be great, a little bit every day. Built one day on top of another. It's like the idea, if you want to lose weight, shoot for a half a pound a week, and then another half a pound, then another half a pound. At the end of the year, 26 pounds have disappeared. Life is a journey. Changing your life is a step-by-step process. Growing is essential to fulfillment. And if you really think about it, all you're ever seeking is to feel fulfilled. With that, my friends, why not start today by embracing that you are an agent of change and start creating a new image for your life. One that gives you juice. One that causes you to expand, to grow, to light up, and to shine. You were meant to shine.